Hey guys, welcome to the Touchdown Table. I'm Ryan, that's Tyler, that's Jordan. Today's video is going to be about potential Coach of the Year candidates. Obviously, with the season coming to a close, there are a lot of coaches out there that have really done a great job with their teams. Obviously, coaching in the NFL not an easy thing to do, but there are a couple people that we want to talk about that have really kind of stood out in the Coach of the Year race. So let's get started.
All right, let's start with what I think is the obvious one, at least, and that's Mike Tomlin.
Front runner right now, in my opinion.
I think it's debatable for sure, but it's what I would say is the case. I mean, you're looking at a team that I believe started 1-4, and Ben Roethlisberger got hurt. This team looked like they were going to stink this year. Antonio Brown's out the door. Le'Veon Bell's with the Jets, who wasn't doing much there. It's a story for a different time, but he's been able to handle the quarterback situation very, very well, and completely flip this team around.
Yeah, this team looked like it was going nowhere, and it just seemed as throughout the weeks it just kept getting worse and worse. But they just kept fighting, and the new guys just started to step up. Devin Bush, the rookie, who they went up and got. They traded up to 10 to get him. He's been working out very well for them. They traded for Minkah Fitzpatrick. That's worked great for their defense. And obviously with Roethlisberger injured, they had Rudolph in for a little bit. They took him out. Hodges is starting as of right now, and so they're just making the right moves. And you can't forget, Juju Smith-Schuster and James Conner were both out. I think it's like twice in the same week. Conner's been out for a while. These are star players that we're talking about, and they're not even in, and this team is still finding ways to win games. That just shows how much of a rounded team and how much they're just so enthusiastic and how much they really, really want to win and want to put their best out in that field for Mike Tomlin. So what he's done with that team has been very, 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 very good.
Yeah, and Mike Tomlin was clearly very confident in this team because when that Minkah Fitzpatrick trade happened, I thought it was very kind of not smart for Pittsburgh because I really didn't think they were going to contend, so I thought they were basically trading away a potential top 10 pick. And yes, Minkah's a great young player, but does he really give you enough to make the playoffs with this quarterback situation? Mike Tomlin clearly knew the answer was yes. And you mentioned the trading up for Devin Bush. That was another thing I thought was questionable. Mike Tomlin's just proven me wrong, and he's clearly knew that he had this in his team, despite the quarterback situation. He's had to deal with a lot. Le'Veon Bell holding out the Antonio Brown thing, Roethlisberger getting hurt, Rudolph struggling. Hodges now coming in the four-string quarterback from training camp at one point. He's the front runner right now, in my opinion. But we've got some other good guys to talk about. Who we got next?
And just one more thing. I'm pretty sure this is a fact, but I don't believe Mike Tomlin's ever gone under 500 as a coach. So
He's been close, I think, but I believe that stat might be correct.
yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next guy, who I would say is probably at number 2. And once again, it's a complete turnaround of an organization. This from a team that wasn't even good at all last year. You can blame it on the quarterback situation, but we're talking about the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan. What he's done this year, and I know he's been there for a couple years. He was there past years as well, and they didn't have much success. But now finally, you're starting to see some players actually staying healthy. And you're seeing the impact that he's made on the team, the players he's picked up, especially in this year's draft, with Deebo Samuel and Nick Bosa both been making huge impacts for the team. Everything is just seeming to go right in San Francisco when it wasn't really expected to.
Yeah, and you just watch San Francisco's game, you look at their scores, it kind of just speaks for itself what they've been able to do. You look at their stats, excuse me, I could tell it by his talking raspy as I was saying that, but
Yeah, I could too.
I had to cough it up.
Why are you talking about that?
But their defense, they have played much better this year. Last year, I am blanking on the name. C.J. Beathard was one of their quarterbacks that they had last year.
Don't forget Nick
Mullins. That's who I was trying to think of. They didn't have Garoppolo last year, so they weren't able to be the team that they are this year without him. And he struggled at the beginning of the year. There was a lot of doubt in him from a lot of people outside saying, was it him who had practiced through 3 picks in a row or something like that? Was that
I think that was.
Yeah, it was.
So there was all that talk. Garoppolo he struggled in preseason too, but and he started playing a lot better. And then those running backs are great. They've put together a great wide receiving core, adding Emmanuel Sanders in the trade, a great move by Mike Shanahan and his team, and Robert Salah doing very well on the defensive side of the ball. And Shanahan, he's put together a very, 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 I say that again, very good squad.
Yeah, he has, and I think what's interesting is he kind of did it subtly. he did like they did have a high pick and they did make some nice moves, but they didn't really they weren't on the headlines. They weren't other than the Nick Bosa pick. Obviously, they kind of did this subtly. Their receiving core coming into the year, they didn't really have like a DeAndre Hopkins or Julio Jones or Michael Thomas. They just kind of had these young guys that are kind of sneaky good that no one in the league really saw coming. And even George Kittle, he's a great tight end, but he was a guy that he's obviously probably the best tight end in the NFL right now in my opinion. But he really has kind of just stepped onto the scene. He's a young guy. I feel like people forget that. So getting him in their offense was a big addition. And then the defense, this 49ers defense is playing well. And obviously the ton of the credit goes to the players. And to the management, but Kyle Shanahan absolutely a contender for this award as well.
In a quick addition, I talked about it with the Steelers, but you were talking about George Kittle. Something I love about George Kittle is the energy that he brings to the team, and that whole energy has just been brought by. He's a huge leader in that locker room, but I'm sure Kyle Shanahan.
He's a Coach of the Year candidate. You can't even say his name.
I just forgot the shh. And I'm going to tell you to shh as I'm talking.
Oh, that was good.
I know, I actually
you redeemed yourself a little bit.
But I'm sure Kyle Shanahan has been getting a lot of that excitement in that locker room. They've been having fun playing, and if the team's having fun, then you're most likely going to have success.
Yep. Yeah. All right, let's move on to our next coaching candidate. And I think it's definitely fair that this guy gets mentioned.
Yep.
The best team in the NFL right now. I'm talking about John Harbaugh as Ryan pulls up.
Oh, okay. I think you had that different order.
No, yeah, it's in a random order I have on here. But we're going to talk about John Harbaugh. The best team in the NFL right now, I think that's undisputed. We saw what they did on Thursday Night Football with Lamar Jackson being injured. And they still did that. It is a natural fact. I mean, last year he had the guts to put Lamar Jackson in, and over the offseason they shipped off Joe Flacco to Denver, a guy that was doing a lot of great things for his team for many years, and he said, no, we got our guy right here in Lamar Jackson. He trusted in him. They made some big acquisitions in the offseason with Mark Ingram and Earl Thomas at the safety position.
Yeah. Marquise Brown
in the draft as well. They really just killed it this year in the offseason, and that's why they are where they are right now.
And something very, very important to this Ravens team is you kind of talked about it a little bit. You didn't go as much into detail as I'm about to go with regarding Lamar Jackson. Mark Ingram was that reference.
That's when he's on the Saints.
Yes, that's true.
Still Mark Ingram.
But the team made a decision that Lamar Jackson was their guy. And what did they do? They didn't keep what their offense was last year. They changed things up, and they revolved around his skill sets. And his skill sets, obviously, are different than a lot of other skill sets for quarterbacks in the NFL. He's a more running type guy, and he's been throwing a lot better this year too. But he is a more running type guy, and that offense is built a lot around that run game. And they pass it very well too when they have to. But that team has done a great job on the offensive side, revolving their offense around Lamar Jackson and his strength.
Exactly, and that's also credit to their offensive coordinator as well for being able to do that.
Very true.
Yeah, and you guys hit on a lot of great points. I just got to say this one little fun fact that I found out not too long ago. The Baltimore Orioles, the Baltimore baseball team, they have lost more recently than the Baltimore Ravens did, and that just goes to show you how hot the Ravens are right now. The Ravens' last loss was on September 29th against Cleveland. That was a day game. Baltimore Orioles loss was on that same day, but a night game. So technically, the Orioles have lost more recently than the Ravens. Kind of goes to show how well Harbaugh's coaching his guys right now. Just a little fun fact for you.
Yeah, that was fun. And when you can change your quarterback situation from being a guy that's made fun of for being a running back to what we saw on Thursday night where he had like 9 Jets players going up to him like it was an autograph signing, like he was getting paid to do that. That shows, once again, another incredible turnaround. That's why these coaches are where they are in this position to be Coach of the Year. Another guy, another team that's had an incredible turnaround. Now you can pull it up, Ryan. The team he had up before was the Buffalo Bills and Sean McDermott. Don't count this guy out. I mean, even when last year the Bills weren't very good. 2 years ago they made the playoffs finally. That's why Sean McDermott started to arise. And now here they are back in the playoff conversation once again. He's been doing a great job leading this team. Josh Allen's been progressing very quickly over the past couple of years. Good drafting with Devin Singletary as well as Ed Oliver in that draft. The defense is continuing to be built. Everything is just coming into place for this Bills team right now. It's all thanks to Sean McDermott.
It's a very young Bills team, and they have a lot of young guys who are kind of going out there and just showing what they could do, and they have those trust in those young guys, and they're
Big
just ready
trust.
to.
Team.
That was last
That's
team.
the other one.
They're just ready to build their organization off of new people, and Sean McDermott, he's been doing a great job with that team. Credit to the players as well; they've been playing better this year, and it's kind of similar to Lamar Jackson, who I just talked about. Josh Allen, his skill sets are more towards the running, and they've got him involved in running this year as well. So they've been doing a great job, and then their defense is probably one of the best defenses in the league. So
no doubt.
they're pretty good squad.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about this Buffalo team is that they've had a chip on their shoulder pretty much all year.
Mhm.
And, McDermott.
They're just not respected.
Yeah, they're not. I think it's
Never
another-
watched.
It's tough to be respected with the schedule that they have.
Yeah,
but regardless,
that's
they
a
played
factor.
well.
That's a factor. But the fact of the matter is they're still in a position to get in to the playoffs. It can be done. I mean, I think that if they get in, I mean, this is a team that's had a chip on their shoulder, and I feel like that could just be a motivator. I feel like people practically ignored the Bills' existence whatsoever until they beat Dallas on Thanksgiving. And then people started to, somewhat say, okay, maybe we'll respect you.
That's kind of turned it now. All Dallas stinks now, so it doesn't matter.
Well, true, yeah.
That's what kind of the excuse that's being made. I'm not
Yeah.
saying outright that Dallas stinks. I'm just saying that's what people are saying.
Yeah, we'll leave that to the meme
regards to
pages.
the Bills.
But yeah, McDermott's, I think he's had his guys ready to play. Josh Allen is improving, and he deserves a lot of credit for that, so, respect the Bills.
And just remember, we just talked about the Ravens. They were in a one-score game with the Ravens. We
Yeah.
talked about
That's
it,
like
the best
basically
team in
winning.
the NFL. So, kudos to this team.
For sure. Yeah, they did a
Hold
great
that
job.
offense to 24.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's actually pretty remarkable considering
Yeah.
how good the Ravens offense has been. All right, last coach we're going to talk about, maybe one you didn't expect us to talk about, but we're going to do it anyways. And I think it's deserving of at least saying it.
Yeah,
And-
at this point, there's not like a huge guy that's really into the conversation, so there was debate about who it could be. But we decided to throw this guy in there because his teams are doing well, so take it over.
By the way, this is in no specific order that we're saying it,
Sure.
but the next guy we're going to talk about is Mike Vrabel
Except for the first
from
one.
the Tennessee Titans. Yeah, the first one was in order.
Yeah.
Other than that, it could be whatever you want it to be.
Mike
Or
Vrabel
anything.
from the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, back to Mike Vrabel from the Tennessee Titans.
In the stash.
Jordan, what was your record prediction for this team before the
Oh,
what season started?
I believe I had 2-14.
yeah, I didn't have much better. I might have given 3 or 4 wins.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
you guys are definitely not the only ones too. So
Uh-huh.
don't beat yourself up about it too much. I was a little nicer to them,
Yeah.
but I don't think I had them having a winning record. I have to go back and look at what I said. But it was not as good as they are right now. And once again, guts. You gotta have a guts to be a head coach in this
Yeah.
league, and it's gotta pay off, and it did. When he said, "Okay, we've had Marcus Mariota here for a while. A lot of people were hoping this guy could be the franchise quarterback, but we now have Ryan Tannehill, who we traded to get, also another risky move that is going to pay off. We traded to get, let's put him in and put our franchise quarterback to be on the bench. And now it seems like Ryan Tannehill is the one that's supposed to be the franchise quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just the quarterback situation. Derrick Henry's been being able to pick things up this year even more than he has before. The guys seem to want to play. They seem to be having a good time with Mike Vrabel as their coach.
We talked about it, I've talked about it a lot in this video already. I'm not going to say it again, what Mike Vrabel has been able to do with the strength of this team. He realized that Mariota was not the way. And the difference, there's a difference between the offense with Mariota, who is a running type quarterback, to Ryan Tannehill, who is an older guy who is not as mobile. He can run. He has run and scored some touchdowns running, but he's not as mobile as Mariota. So you got to change some things up, and that change really came with Derrick Henry. When Ryan Tannehill started playing, Derrick Henry just started. He stepped up and said, "All right, I'll do a lot," and Ryan Tannehill said, "All right, you'll do a lot, I'll do a lot," and then the receivers, they step up. A.J. Brownson doing good. Honestly, I don't really know many receivers for this team. Is Corey Davis even still alive? That's a question. I don't watch any Titans game. That just goes to show you. Titans and Bills games are not really shown, but yet we're talking about it right now, so I guess that's good that we're talking about them. But they've had a very good season so far. Their defense, they're probably about middle of the pack too. They're not bad though. So they're making a late run in a close division, and it's fun to watch this team. And this team that we always said was inconsistent. They're getting more consistent now. Mike Vrabel has done a great job over the past few weeks improving this team.
Yeah, and Mike Vrabel really, you touched on it at the end. He's really done the impossible, and that is making this team consistent. It's like, okay, let's say, okay, I'm just gonna pick a random 2-game stretch. Okay, they beat the Chiefs and the Jaguars. Impressively, one just beating the Chiefs and then they beat the Jaguars by 3 scores. They're looking great. Yeah, 2 straight wins. Hey, don't rule out the Titans. This is what everyone's saying at the time. Don't rule them out. They can still get in. So normally that's the part where they go out and they lay an egg the next game and get blown out no matter who they're playing. But then they won again. Like, is that even allowed in Tennessee? Like, Mike Vrabel, what are you doing? Like, you're breaking the tradition of the Tennessee averageness, but you know what? That's why you're in discussion in this video, and he benched Marcus Mediocre. That was a tough thing to do. I did say that on purpose, and I think him and Ryan Tannehill both deserve a lot of the credit for Tennessee's success in this really, I guess you could say, new mini era of Titans football with Tannehill, because we don't know how long it's going to last, if he gets that extension or not.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea of this entire video is why these coaches are where they are. It's either because they just didn't expect success this year, and they've been able to create success, or there's been a lot more success than people thought. So it just goes into that. And you wonder also, something I want to bring up really quickly here, why you don't see coaches like Bill Belichick and Andy Reid being top candidates for this every year. I think that's because everyone knows those teams are going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just true.
It's just
and they're great coaches. They're really, really, really good coaches. And I thought about putting Belichick in here. Not Belichick. I thought about putting Andy Reid into here. I didn't even think about Belichick, but those two guys, they're just always, they've been around the league so long, it's just like, we know how good they are, but you're always this good. Get you out of here. We want new guys.
Yeah, and I think you made a great point really quick with the new factor, because people want to see new stuff. You look at like the Ravens. You mentioned how like all the Jets players. They want Lamar's autographed jersey, so he's got to hand them out like he's giving them out to little kids at some events in the off season. It's like the Ravens are a new type of football team with a new type of offense. So that newness and that innovation, that's what these people look for when deciding who gets these awards.
Mm-hmm. And obviously that's why we mentioned these guys. They've all brought new things to their teams. Congratulations to them for at least being on this list. There's others too that we just didn't mention, so don't worry about that. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell. There's not 2 bells, there's only one. And if you comment, you will get a response from the touchdown table in the comment section. So do that, and you will get one.
Yep.
With that, thank you guys for watching this video, and we'll see you guys later.
See ya.